on Twitter. So, Ahmed, last it was not last week, but the week before, we received Arno to explain us. No, no, no. It was last Tuesday actually to explain everything about the new, the first native stablecoin on MultiversX, the Ash. He did a great job for the French-speaking people, but we had a lot of demand from the English-speaking people saying, and us, and us. So that's why I invited you today to answer all of our questions, to understand perfectly what is Ash, what's the use, what are the mechanisms, and how will Ash help the multiverse ecosystem and so on. So I invite everyone here, if you have any question about the Ash now during the interview, feel free to ask your questions in the comment. I will list them and I will ask them to Ahmed, who accepted to answer all the questions. Correct?
Of course, correct. And thank you very much for having me. And it will be like my pleasure to help, let's say, the community, everyone to understand more about USH. And yeah, of course, answer all questions.
Yeah, and we can mention first two things. First of all, you are a historical partner of GM Web3 MultiversX, and it's important for us to have such support. It's not just about Hatom, it's about communication, share information, interviews, critics sometimes, so the
Yeah.
MultiversX community can understand everything and can make their choice. We can say after due diligence. So thank you for that. And the second thing is that you allocated a lot of resources for education with videos, with ambassadors, with the interviews, for example, today and last Tuesday for Arno. So we can read on the internet that sometimes Hatam is not doing marketing enough. Maybe we can speak about it, but what is important is in terms of education about the tools, about the assets, about the protocols, and so on. We have to admit that you allocate a lot of resource in this. So it's not just about selling your product, but about make it understandable. And after, it's free to everyone to use it or not. Am I correct about the strategy to start this interview?
No, well, it is. It is actually, because for us, it is important to build a good tech product that makes sense from an architecture and design point of view, product that are secure, but most importantly, we need to make sure that they're like accessible to users. So through our integration, we try to make the user interface and the user experience as simple and intuitive as possible, and at the same time work on the educational content. So through threads that explains each product, the benefit of it, how it can be used, up to different like videos that we are trying to share to make things more visual and more understandable somehow. So yeah, let's say that this is really important for us actually.
Thank you very much. So we can say that you brought DeFi on Multiverse in the way I consider DeFi. Uh, DeFi, in my opinion, is not just swapping tokens on chain. For me, but maybe I'm wrong. I had this discussion with Arno a few days ago. For me, DeFi is lending and borrowing. Okay, because in the traditional finance, when we speak about finance, it's about financing the economy by lending and borrowing. So you brought it on Multiverse with the Hatom protocol, and now you are bringing native stablecoins. And actually, we all agree that DeFi and native stablecoins are just necessary, maybe not sufficient, but necessary to complete multiverse ecosystem. And we spoke about it during the MVX gathering last week. My first question is why you decided to launch this stablecoin, because it was actually not planned on the very first roadmap of Hatom.
Indeed. So to get back to you, like on all the points. So I would say that like DeFi isn't like resumed or doesn't stop only like at lending and borrowing. It's a whole. You see, like it includes any protocol offering decentralized finance activities. So through Hatom, our goal was to try to push and help the MultiversX ecosystem, provide our humble contribution, and yeah, try to help this aspect of the chain to strive, because it is like essential for any blockchain to have like a flourishing DeFi ecosystem. In terms of USH, it wasn't present in our initial roadmap, but the need arises when we saw that there was a lack of stablecoin liquidity in the chain. So I think I'm able to share my screen, right?
Yeah, of course. You need to. I need to accept, but I will. So
All
no
right,
should be okay now, and I will enlarge it so you can speak and we can see what you do right now.
awesome. So what we noticed when we launched Hatom is that there was a huge need for stablecoin liquidity. So if we take a look at the lending protocol and the money markets of both like USDC and USDT, you can notice that the supply APY alone, without counting like the HM booster APY, offers nearly like 25% APY for supplying stables on both like USDC and USDT. So if we take a look at the details on the markets page, we will notice that those money markets have a huge utilization rate. What I mean by utilization rate is that a big portion of them is being borrowed by protocol users. So you can see that for USDC, 89% of the total supply has been borrowed. So practically the same for USDT. So there's like a huge demand on chain for those stablecoin liquidity. So people are supplying e-gold, for example, or other asset because they don't want to lose exposure to them, but they want to have access to the stablecoin liquidity to perform, you see, like purchases, long assets, like different use cases. So in our case, like for Hatom, what we tried to do in the past is to work on some marketing campaigns, actually. So we had like multiple partnerships and collaborations with different KOLs, wrote threads about the opportunities that are offered like on chain here. But still, even though we have put like huge efforts on those strategies, we weren't able to attract a huge amount of stablecoin liquidity. So the reasons can be like there could be like multiple reasons, but the most important ones are the fact that stablecoins are not native on MultiversX, and players outside of the ecosystem, they might not want to breach, you see, like their assets and use a broad version of USDC and USDT in the protocol. Others might be, let's say, limited by the bridge back limitations and the 50K limit per transaction that they have. So if they are bridging, you see, like for example, $1 million, and they want to bridge it back, they have some high fees, and the process takes so much time. And for them, like it's not like very practical. So there could be like diverse reasons, but the end result is the same. There is a lack of stablecoin liquidity on chain, and even though people are borrowing a lot of stablecoins and the borrow APY is pretty high, even borrowers, they don't want to repay their debt to put like more liquidity in the pools. So they are ready, you see, like to pay those borrow APYs and to be able to access the stablecoin liquidity. So for Hatom, what we try to do is to tackle this issue from a DeFi point of view, using like the resources that we had at hand. So what we decided to do is to create like a model where users will be able to leverage their assets on MultiversX, because most of the MultiversX users, they have like equal and they don't have like stablecoin liquidity. So with USH, we are allowing them to put equal as collateral and to natively mint USH without any limitations in terms of supply, let's say. Because, for example, for USDC and USDT, there is a limit in terms of how much liquidity you can borrow. But for USH, as long as you put enough collateral, you will be able to mint the amount of USH that
Okay,
you.
let's. If you agree, I will ask you different questions so it will be maybe easier for people to understand. Because I think I could let you speak for 1 hour, and thank you very much for this. But the first question, and you answered it perfectly, is why launch a stablecoin? And actually, you are monitoring the data from the protocol, and you noticed that there were a need, there were a demand, but not enough offer because of technical reasons, mostly actually because we are limited to 50K because we don't have centralized stablecoins yet on MultiversX. And so it was, can we say it was your role to fulfill this need? And was it, let me check how to say in English. I would like to be clear in my
It's
question.
your
Was it to the detriment of something else on Hatom Protocol roadmap?
Mm, not really actually. So, like first of all, I wouldn't say that it was our role to bring it or our responsibility, but for us, let's say, following our vision and our initiative to help the Multiverse X DeFi ecosystem thrive. So we judged that like we needed, you see, like to take care of this module and to make it available as soon as possible. So, but it didn't come at the detriment of other products. We have like a pretty vast and competent development team, and let's say that this allows us to work on multiple things at the same time. So, like in parallel with USH, we have been like exploring. You see, so other products such as Pulse that we teased in our protocol update, and like we will share more information about it like pretty soon on X, and also like working on, let's say, other implementations, other features, products too that we didn't disclose yet. So yeah.
Okay. Can you explain us in a very a simple way what's the difference between the current stablecoins and a native stablecoin? Because we want to be sure that it's clear for everyone.
So like what do you mean by the current stable ones? Are you referring like to
The
wrapped
wrapped one.
USDC, right?
The wrapped one.
So basically, let's say that it's pretty simple. Those stable coins are not like minted natively in the chain. So they are like bridged by a third party that is holding them in the chain where like they exist. So basically in the Binance Smart Chain on Ethereum, and offering like a wrapped version to the users like on MultiverseX. And if they want to bridge back, let's say that one wrapped USDC will always equal like one USDC on the other side too. For USH, it's a stablecoin that will be like natively, you see, like minted on chain here, like on MultiverseX, actually. So yeah, like the difference is
Uh,
as simple as that.
it's clear, but what's the difference between them in terms of security? You spoke about the limits, and why we shouldn't maybe, I don't know, like increase the limit, for example. So why do we really need native stablecoin?
So those are like in terms of the limits, those are security parameters that are being put to try to control, let's say, the outflow of the stable coins and provide, you see, like enough time for the team behind the bridge to monitor the activity and take action in case they detect any anomaly. Let's say when we are talking about native stable coins, like for example, if people want to bring some USDC from different exchanges, like on MultiverseX, they're obliged to go through the bridge. And the process, I won't say is painful, but take some time. If they want to go back from MultiverseX, same thing. They need to go through the bridge. If USDC and USDT were brought natively, it means that they would have been able to be minted, like directly to Circle, to trader on chain, and transferable. You see, like from the exchange to MultiverseX and from MultiverseX to exchange. So providing like way more flexibility and avoiding people to be like exposed to wrapped assets and any risk related to breaches, basically.
Okay, we make the difference between centralized and decentralized stablecoins. So centralized stablecoins are, we can say, the USDT, the USDC, and decentralized stablecoin, we can speak about maybe the DAI,
Yeah.
but there are many others. Can you tell us the difference between decentralized stablecoin and the centralized one, and what maybe are the advantages and the disadvantages of each, so everyone can understand what is it about?
So, their name basically like described a bit. You see their characteristics. So for decentralized stablecoins, they are managed by a centralized entity. So even though they have some audits that are performed like maybe monthly or annually too, there is a lack of transparency in terms of how much treasury they are holding in exchange of how much stable coins are being put into circulation. They have like more control on the stable coin. For some of them, they will be able to block, you see, like some addresses from being able to transfer the stable coins that are like present there. For the decentralized one, it's an approach that goes like more along with the vision of crypto like in general. So decentralized stablecoins are not controlled by a centralized entity, but more through a governance module. For example, they have like way more transparency, so you'll be able to like at all time to check how much like stablecoin are minted and how much collateral is actually like backing them on chain. So those are the two main aspects, I would say. So control and transparency around them.
Okay. um, so let's deep dive in the different mint mechanisms. So first, how is hash? How to say hash? Ush? Hash?
So
USA?
for us, like we have like two names that we are using. Like me personally, I always use like USH,
US.
but other team members are calling it like Ush. So yeah, both names can be used. That's why.
Okay. Because ETH, we read it, and BTC, we read only the letters. So the two ways are good, actually. Um, so how is USH created? What are the different mechanisms to mint and maybe burn at the other end of the road?
Sure. So there are like two ways to mint USH actually. So we have like USH integrated directly into the lending protocol, and then we created like a new module that we're calling the isolated pools, where USH could be minted. The difference between them is the collateral that could be used to mint USH basically. So on the lending protocol, users will be able to use SE Gold, stacked wrapped TAO, wrapped BTC, wrapped ETH, USDC, USDT, UTK to be able to mint USH with variable minting rates, which means that they are able to supply their collateral, earn the supply APY on it, any APY distributed to the booster, then they're able to mint USH at a fixed interest rate. So based on which collateral they are using, they will have a fixed rate, interest rate applied on the amount of USH they have minted. So this is the first like USH facilitator. The second one is through the isolated pool. So the particularity of this module is that only eGold and WrapTAO could be used there to mint USH. So for the user, they are able to supply eGold and then mint USH at a 0% minting fee or borrowing APY and access the stablecoin liquidity. So like to keep it short, those are like the two ways on how you could be able to access the USH liquidity through Hatom.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I remind everyone who is with us on the live that you can ask all of your questions in the comment, just to be sure that it's clear for you. Because to be honest, I already listened to this in French 1 week ago, so it's clear for me. So if it's not, or if you need more clarification or anything, feel free to ask in the comment, and of course we'll make it even clearer. Next question is about the peg. The biggest problems with stablecoin through the retail view actually is the depeg. It's when the
Yeah,
stablecoin is not worth $1 in the majority of the case. So how does USH keep its peg with the dollar?
sure. So we have what we call the soft peg mechanism and also the hard peg mechanism, basically. So for the soft peg mechanism, uh, it happens like it protects, let's say, the peg of USH through arbitrage and the fact that USH is pegged to $1 on the lending protocol and in the isolated pool. So what I mean by arbitrage is that people who are looking for some financial profits will always monitor. You see, like the price of USH on the different LPs, and always work on trying to rebalance it to make some profit on both sides. So through this, let's say, approach, they will be able to protect the peg of USH. In addition to that, USH is pegged to $1 on both the lending protocol and on the isolated pool, which means that if USH was trading below peg, it will be like profitable, like below $1. It will be like profitable for borrowers to buy it from the open market and then repay their debt. So they could like buy, let's say, 100 USH for $98 and use that to repay like $100 of debt that they have in the lending protocol. So they made like a 2% profit basically on through this action. If USH is trading above peg, it will be like profitable for users to just like mint it at a value of $1 through the lending protocol and sell it on the different dexes at a higher value to make the difference in terms of profit. So through those two approaches, basically, like USH will be able to retain its peg through what we call like the soft peg protection mechanism.
So
Then,
we can say it's a financial incentives that will keep the
yeah,
soft peg going, like with arbitrage, we can say.
exactly, yeah. Always like arbitrage to the different LPs and also through approaches through the lending protocol and the isolated pool.
Okay, what about the hard depeg?
So for the hard pack protection mechanism, so it gets activated when there is a hard pack that is happening basically for USH, and it acts as a buffer that always guarantee that USH will be able to retrieve the peg value and go back to $1. So what happens is that the collaterals that are available in the isolated pool could be redeemed in exchange of USH that could be bought from the different dexes. And through this buying pressure, basically, we are helping USH retrieve its peg. So we can say that the isolated pool acts as a big market maker, offering liquidity in exchange to people buying USH from the open market to help retrieve like the peg value. And I can go like more deeper into how it is happening. So we are calling like this mechanism the redemption. So the redemption, the redemption action, basically. So through the redemption, what happens is that people, anyone, could be able to interact with the smart contracts when USH has a big depeg based on the parameters that we are defined. They could provide, for example, 100 USH and retrieve a certain, like a portion of the collateral of the users that have supplied, basically like they're equaled on the protocol. But for them to be able to get the USH, they need to buy it from the open market and to like to put buying pressure on the USH price, basically. The particularity of redemption, because like redemptions are different from liquidations. So on liquidations, when a user is in a position to get liquidated, someone could repay a portion of his loan and buy his collateral as a discount. For redemption, the process doesn't work, let's say, the same way. The collateral isn't offered at a discount, but the other way around. So to give like some numbers to understand this even better, let's suppose that USH like is depegged and $100 would buy you, let's say, $100 would buy you 97 USH. So like you have $3 of difference basically. Once you go to the isolated pool and want to perform a redemption, you will be able to put those 100 USH and back $99.5 of e-gold collateral. So in the process, you are making $2.5 as a revenue, and the person on whom the redemption has been performed will gain $0.5, let's say, bonus through this redemption. So they will have a portion of their borrow that will be like decreased, and they will receive a bonus on their collateral because this redemption happened basically. And the process of redemption is, I won't say like more complex, but there are like multiple parameters that we put in place to make it like the most optimal possible. So when USH depegs, what we do at the smart contract level is that we calculate based on the size of the LP how much USH is needed to be able to help it like regain the peg, and that amount alone is the only one that could get redempted basically, that could go through the redemption. So if USH depeg, you can't just like buy all the collateral or perform a redemption on all the collateral that is available in the isolated pool, but only the required portion to help USA trigger in the peg, basically. I hope that it is clear. Otherwise, we can go through some more like specific questions about like the process.
Okay. Because we last week we had questions about the Luna crash, and of course, people wants to be sure that it won't happen with the Ash, because we can hear algorithmic stablecoin. Some says that it's not algorithmic; it's incentive stablecoin. And so, can you maybe tell us how what happened to Luna will not happen on Ash, and how you built the thing so it will never happen?
Like the first reason is that the two models are completely different. There is no similarities between them besides the fact that they both have, you see, like a token that is called, you see, like a stable coin that is minted. So for Luna, it's an algorithmic stable coin. When we say like algorithmic, it means that the stable coin is able to protect its peg through algorithms and smart contract logic. In our case, we are an over-collateralized stablecoins, which means that at any point in time, we will always have more collateral back in the stablecoin than what has been minted and put in circulation, basically. So through the lending protocol, whenever reaches like the maximum of his borrow limit, he is able to get liquidated, and anyone is incentivized to come repay USH on his behalf and liquidate his position to be able to make some profits through this action, to keep like a healthy state for USH and to always keep, you see, like the amount of USH circulating always backed by a higher amount of collateral put. And then we have like the redemption mechanism that I just like explained, which come as an additional buffer to protect, you see, like the USH and its spec, basically. So like through the redemption, the isolated protocol will act as a sort of market maker that will always guarantee you that if you have like USH, you will be able to get, you see, the equivalent in collateral through this process, basically. So yeah, the two models are completely different, and like it's just like impossible for something like similar to USD to happen to USH.
Yeah, because we have to remember that the Terra Luna ecosystem was between the token Luna and the stablecoin UST, and both were linked. The way that the more you mint Luna, the more you mint UST, and the less you mint, and so on. And so these two assets were linked, and when one was attacked, the other one was attacked. And so it's a bit different, that what you are building at the moment. But it's important to remind this, and it's true that since the Luna crash, algorithmic stablecoin is like seen like a red flag, and everybody thinks about Luna. So that's why maybe it's not the good word. USH is not an algorithmic stablecoin. Okay, it's
For Luna
important.
2, like they were offering some unsustainable yields that no one was aware, like from where they were coming. basically. So even the approaches are totally different. So in our case, what we are trying to do through the implementation of USH is to create like an over-collateralized one, a solid model, make sure that it is secure, but most importantly, work on the different products to make sure that USH will be liquid and increase its use cases. So what we are doing through our approach is, besides building the isolated pool and the lending protocol, is also like building a staking module. So for the staking module, it is a really important product for USH and a pretty simple one to understand. So USH will increase the revenue generation of Hatom. We will generate like additional revenue through the lending protocol, but also through the isolated pool. So a small portion of that revenue will always be used to cover or help complete the incentives that we are distributing on the lending protocol, to not rely on our treasury and always distributing from the revenue being generated from Hatom. But 90% of the revenue that USH will be generating will be redistributed on this staking module on the LPs of USH eGold, USH USDC, and USH USDT. So the goal through this approach is to incentivize people to make USH more liquid and to create those LPs basically. And for them, there is like a huge financial incentives actually through this approach, because we are allowing them to create like an LP with X exchange or a swap to boost the LP like through like the farm or dual farm, for example. So they will be like generating all the trading APR through X exchange or the bonuses that they're offering. And on top of this, they will be able to stake that receipt token that represent like the farm position into the USH staking and earn maybe like an even higher yield through the revenue that USH is offering. So for them, like it's really a way to optimize the revenue that are generating through their asset, and at the same time participating in making USH more liquid, actually.
Okay, very, very clear. Let's move to the next question about how. Imagine I am a very simple user of a Hatom protocol. I'm not very connoisseur about DeFi. How do I use USH? You told me how to mint. Okay, so now I have USH. So in an individual like me or a project point of view, how do I use USH in Hatom ecosystem and on MultiversX ecosystem?
The use cases are diverse and they depend on the specific need of the user. So from our side, as we said like at the beginning, what we're trying to do is to simplify like the understanding and the possibilities through different like educational contents, through threads, but also explanatory videos. So for a user, it allows you to access a stablecoin liquidity without having to sell your eGold, for example, to perform, you see like a short or let's say a long strategy to get like LPs, to just like perform purchases, to use it on different other applications or protocols that are like integrating USH. So it mainly depends on the user need. But for us, what we are trying to do is to try to make it simple to understand for them and to simplify basically like the process on minting USH and how it can be used, basically.
For maybe for a project, I read in the internet, and of course
Yeah.
Jano explained me that it will be interesting to have this native stablecoin because it will be the opportunity not to sell the GLD, and so it will reduce the selling pressure on the cryptocurrency of MultiversX. And maybe for the project they will be able to create pools and to pair with USH instead of EGLD, so it can be interesting for them too. Maybe can you develop this part of utilities for the USH?
Indeed. So USH like is not only a stablecoin, but it is not like only tackling, let's say, the stablecoin liquidity issues on MultiversX, but it comes with multiple benefits for the whole ecosystem, but also like for projects, basically. So starting like by the ecosystem, right now, what we can notice, for example, like I'm trying to share like my screen again. If we go like to X exchange, for example, what we will see is that all of the LPs are paired with eGold. So we have like Mexi Gold, HM Gold, Foxy Gold, Ash Gold, Ethereum Gold, and so on. So which means that there is a huge selling pressure on eGold. Whenever someone wants to sell a token and exit the ecosystem, it goes through basically like the token eGold sent to exchanges, or the token eGold then eGold USDC. So basically to this approach, there's like a huge selling pressure that is applied on eGold. And this was like the same case for Ethereum and Uniswap back in the days. So all the LPs were paired with Ethereum, and it was like negatively impacting it. Then what they did is that they transitioned in terms of trying to create the LPs paired with stable coins mostly. So with USH and the launch of USH, this is what we will be able to allow projects to do. So instead of having their LP created with eGold and linking at the same time like the market of their token and the price of it with eGold, they will be able to pair their token with USH. So the benefits of this is that this will create an alternative route for those tokens to exit the ecosystem. So the new route will look like token USH and then like USH USDC or USH USDT, avoiding to put this additional selling pressure on eGold. And in addition to that, like for the project, it will be a way for them to have an independent market for their token. Because like right now, if eGold price goes up, their token go up. If eGold price go down, their token go down. But it's the same thing for eGold too. Like if the token with which eGold is paired goes up, it will drag eGold forward. But if it goes down, it will drag like eGold downward too. So it will be like beneficial for both eGold and the project to have their LP separated from eGold, to have their independent market basically, and a real price and economy for their token. So yeah, like eGold will be like quite beneficial for project. We are already like in touch with different like projects in the ecosystem that are interested to create like their LPs with USH. And let's say that they understood the potential of USH, the benefit for their project, and our vision is starting to get shaped, let's say. So yeah, I would say that there are like multiple benefits, and those are like the two biggest ones for both like eGold and the projects.
Okay.
If
And
I may, do you hear me?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, thanks, Ahmed. I mean, for all the explanation. I mean, it's quite complex. I mean, I think it's hard to catch. I mean, I think people would have to re-listen, and but I love the product. I think it's something really important for the ecosystem, like you said multiple times. Like, what would be your advice for any users at the moment to be kind of ready for the launch of Hush? And what token they will need, in fact, if they want to benefit the best of the different yield and the different mechanism that will be set up in the early stage of Hush. That could be something interesting, maybe to know if do I need Atom, do I need Eagle, do I need like all these different elements. I think the users will be really inclined to know about that. I think myself too.
So I would say that my first advice would be to really take time to understand very well how USH is working. On our side, we are ready to assist. So we have made available like multiple educational videos, threads, and so on. But we are also available to answer like any questions directly on the Telegram group. So it's a way to directly like talk to us, answer any question that you had in mind, something that wasn't clear to you, for example. So that would be like the first thing, to understand how USH is working and what are like the different strategies and opportunities that are like available. And they can like even start to try them on the test net. I mean the DevNet, to try to see how the process will look like and what actions they will need to perform and so on. But then in terms of strategies that I would recommend, like to be honest with you, it depends. You see, like what the user is looking for, what asset he already has, what interests him. You see, so there are like multiple things that could be done, from creating like different LPs, from trying to create some strategies to long assets through USH. So it really depends on the personal needs and the personal like situation of each user.
Okay, and another thing that I have in mind, because like I've been said at the very beginning, there's a lot of contents that have been created on X, a lot of posts, maybe video also on YouTube, if I'm not wrong, with different influencers. Do you have at the end a documentation? I would say kind of the docusaurus, like a MultiversX, that make a resume of the different approach, the different pools, the different architecture of LPs. Do you have something already like that in the pipe, or it's already there maybe?
Yes, of course. So we already have some documentation that has been like published in our doc section, and we are like also preparing. You see, like a more detailed and in-depth documentation that will be made live pretty soon, actually. So way before the launch of USH on mainnet.
Oh, great. Looking forward to it. I mean, and that will be from the user perspective, like regarding the integration. I guess it will come also a little later when the stuff will be more established.
Exactly. So for us, we are also like available through our developer group.
Fair.
So there, our tech team is also able to answer like any question, assist developers in terms of integrating USH or building like on top of it to take care of redemptions, liquidations, or just like build a product using USH. So yeah, like some APIs files have already been shared there, and we are like always available.
No,
So
it's fair. It's fair. Thanks.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's move to the next question, and we'll speak about the MultiversX ecosystem in general. We all say that we lack of native stablecoins. So concretely, how will USH help the MVX ecosystem? And the second question is how the MVX Foundation maybe helped you, supported you, or how what's your relation? Because you're bringing this first native stablecoin, which is required and very necessary for the ecosystem to expand.
Sure. So I would say that we have like a pretty good relationship with the foundation. We are like pretty close to them. We constantly like discuss about our strategies, the plans that we have in terms of development, what we are preparing, and they are like providing as much help as they can on their side too. So right now, like for example, we are working on the liquidity provision aspect. So our go-to-market strategy. Through this strategy, what we do is that we discuss with big players in the ecosystem, from staking providers to project owners to e-gold holders, big e-gold holders. And what we will have is a private mainnet launch where the foundation and all those players will supply liquidity initially, preparing for the launch, increasing the TVL, but most importantly, allowing us to start generating revenue that will be distributed in the staking module from day one after the launch. So this is very important because it will allow us to have all the modules of USH working at full potential and completing the ecosystem that we have created to incentivize. You see, like from day one, the creation of the LPs through the yields that will be distributed in the staking module. So from the foundation, they are like really helpful, and we have like some good relationships with them actually. And in terms of USH itself, let's say that the main goal, or one of the main goals of USH, was to leverage, you see, like the liquidity that we already have on chain to tackle these stablecoin liquidity issues. Because, like, let's face it, most of our users, like the e-gold community, like they hold e-gold. They don't hold much stables, and no one wants to sell their e-gold because we all believe in the upside potential of it. So USH provides a way to access like this stablecoin liquidity while keeping exposure to your e-gold asset. But for the other, let's say like USDT, USDC, USH will also participate in terms of attracting some additional liquidity through the staking module, for example. So we will like incite people to create like LPs with both like USDC and USDT and USH to come and try to farm, you say, like the yields that we'll be offering. So it will like an indirect way to attract this stablecoin liquidity. But something like really important on which we will be like working after the launch of USH is a marketing campaign specifically targeting the BitDancer community. So right now, what we did initially is we have like bridged or created like a bridge from BitTensor to MultiversX to allow, you see, like the Tau holders to be able to access DeFi, because right now what they were able to do is just to sell or buy Tau. But through the integration on Hatom, what they are able to do is to take advantage of new DeFi opportunities. So use Tau as collateral to be able to borrow stables, long, short assets, or even like perform leverage liquid staking. But there was like a limit in terms of the possibilities that were like available on Hatom at some point, like where's the limit of stablecoin liquidity. So for them, it wasn't like profitable to come bridge Tau and then like borrow stables at 30% borrow APY, for example. So with the release of USH, we will remove these limitations and these blockers, let's say. So they will be able to bridge their asset, use it as collateral, and mint the amount of USH that they want, getting like real access to more stablecoin liquidity. So we'll have like a heavy campaign that will be held, and we believe that we'll be able to attract a quite significant amount of wrap Tau bridged into MultiversX through this approach.
Okay, Philip, maybe you want to ask a question?
Nothing special. I mean, I think the message have been mixed with the other one. Nothing in mind. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Ahmed, for this answers. We have a few questions in the comment and in a private message, so I will ask you them. Is USH intended to be used as a pair outside of multiverses, such as on a centralized exchange or other blockchains? It's an important question, because at the moment, if we want to leave multiverses ecosystem, we need to swap to UGLD or maybe UTK, which is listed on Binance. And so it's, of course, very limited. So what's your strategy in terms of listing on a centralized exchange to bring people into the multiverses ecosystem and to be able to live and calm and so on? This is what brings liquidity, because liquidity providers, they want to be able to come, they want to be able to leave, they want to be able to come again and so on. This is what makes the liquidity arrive in an ecosystem, in my opinion.
No, I agree. Let's say that for us, the goal is to expand like usage as much as possible and to make sure that it is like accessible, like everywhere. Like this is the goal. So for sure, like as a first step, what we want to do is to first like launch it to make sure that everything is stable, to increase like the liquidity on chain, and then as a second step, when the first one has been achieved, to start like on the to start working on the exchanges integration to make it available wherever we can. And at the same time, through our approach, so as you know, in our roadmap, the next step for Hatom is the blockchain, or let's say the cross-chain expansion. So to build all the different products and to deploy them on other chains. And USH will also be one of them. And through this integration, we'll also make like USH natively available in the chain where Hatom will be like expanding to. So for sure, this is something that we aim to work on too.
Okay, thank you for this. We also have another question. At the end, why I cannot mint USH with any ESDT instead of only EGLD? I will correct. It's not just EGLD, it's EGLD, Tau, and the liquid staked tokens, correct?
So partially, like you will be able to use or to mint like USH with the different assets actually. So on the isolated pool, like as we said, we have two ways to mint USH: one through the isolated pool and one to the lending protocol. So on the isolated pool, you will be able to use like only equaled and wrapped out to mint USH and at a 0% minting fee. Then on the lending protocol, you will be able to use all the other assets. So SE Gold, Stack Wrapped out, Wrapped BTC, Wrapped ETH, HTM, USDC, USDT, and UTK to mint USH. But this time, it will have a minting APY, and each collateral used will have a different minting APY, basically. Am I able to share my screen again?
Sure. I will display it here and enlarge. Let's go, bro. I thought, wait, I will remove this and okay.
All right, so here you see that we have the lending protocol, then we have USH pool. Once you click on it, you have like the different assets that are available to be used to mint like USH. On top of those, we will also have SE Gold and Stack Wrapped DAO. The difference between this approach and the isolated pool is that here we have what we call a variable minting APY. We are like saying variable because like the minting APY will change depending on which collateral is being used to cover your debt in USH. So for example, if you use like wrapped USDC, the minting APY, for example, here like on the DevNet, those are like just some mock values, is 3.58%. If you use like USDT, it's 4.09%. And if you have like multiple collaterals, we will always use the collateral offering like or give like the priority to the collateral offering the best rates, and then cover the rest of the debt with the other collateral that will offer like the rate that will follow, basically. So this is like the difference between the two. Here you can use like all the USDTs available to mint USH with a borrow APY. And on the isolated pool, you can use either equal or wrapped DAO to mint USH at a 0% minting fee. Clear?
Yes, very clear. Let me remove it now. Let me know if you need again to display your screen. Okay, so I think it's that's all. That's all the questions we have. Let me check one last time to be sure.
Sure.
When USH is out, can same module be used to have other stables? It is just a matter of getting the necessary collateral. That's interesting. Will you make like a white brand of your protocol to allow other people to issue their own stable coins, like open source protocol?
So for us, like we are always striving to make the code open source too. There's like a step that we need to go through is to make sure that everything is stable, everything like is secure, to be able to go, let's say, through this process. So this is what we did for liquid staking, for example. Once we were confident enough about like the product that it was like secure enough, we have made it. You see, like public and open source. So same thing will happen like in the future for the lending protocol, the different modules, and USH too. So yeah, it's also like in the pipeline, and it will come in like in due time.
Okay. If I may, Ahmed, I have a question regarding the Sol protocol because I think it's something that's really important in your strategy. I mean, like, and regarding the minting also of other token and the way that you maybe want to keep like that open source or at least like permissionless somehow. Let's see how far we go with that. I mean, but do you plan on using maybe the Sol protocol on top of that to access other chain? Because you still, I think in any case, if Hush is minted on MultiversX, we'll have the problem with the bridge. So that's something that is out of your hand, and maybe more discussion will come with the foundation. But you have also the opportunity maybe to use the Sol protocol when it will be there. I mean, somehow to extract the liquidity and the value to other protocols without the bridge. In fact, with your own bridge, if I can say, is it something that you take in consideration a lot in your expansion, or at the moment is just the second choice compared to the opening of the bridge of the foundation?
Sure. So, like for Sol, of course, like this is something that we are like exploring, like the integration in due time with MultiversX and building it like on top of Hatom. And the integration of Sol will be like quite powerful, because what Sol allows you to do is to access the liquidity of different chains, but also the liquidity and the opportunities of different other protocols. So through Sol, users will be able to supply the asset, like to take on, or to follow up on your example, to supply their asset on Hatom, on MultiversX, take advantage of all the yields that Hatom is offering, plus any additional incentives that Sol might offer, and instantly be able to take out loans of different assets on different chains or any other protocol that is integrated without the need to have like any collateral supplied there. So it allows you to take advantage of liquidity of other chains, but also of the advantages. So for example, you could supply like your equal here and use it as collateral, then take a loan from Aave on Polygon, because Aave on Polygon is the one, like is the protocol offering the best yields for borrowing USDC, for example. So yeah, I think that the integration will be like quite powerful for Hatom, but for any chain and any protocol that we decide to integrate like from day one, it could literally be a game changer in terms of connecting liquidity and accessing DeFi opportunities.
I agree entirely. I mean, that's looking forward to have that live, guys. Looking forward.
It might come like pretty soon. Actually, it might come like pretty soon. So
yeah.
we have some exciting things prepared on that front too.
Looking forward to it, guys. Well done.
Thank you very much. I have a few left questions for you, but not about Ash, Ahmed.
Of course.
We are on MVX meme season at the moment. You could not see on Twitter, even the core team posted about that, and everybody is speaking about Bober, Quack, and many others I will not mention since I don't know them pretty well. What's your position about meme coin? Do you what do you think about it, like sincerely? And second, do you plan, guys, to make partnerships, or maybe to build any tools, anything around the memes to participate into this movement on MultiversX?
So for us, like to be completely honest, I don't hold like any meme coin. I've never bought some at all. It's great to see that the community is gathering like around some different, you see, like initiatives and so on. For me, what I think is that it's an unstable market. You see, like it's exactly like similar to gambling. So at the end, there isn't like any real utility, and at any point in time, like the market of those tokens could literally crash. You see, like it's also I would say like attracting liquidity that could have been used on other projects, but at the end, like everyone is free to do as they please. For us, like in terms of integration, this would like constitute a too huge risk for the protocols if they were integrated, for example, as collateral, because the market is unstable, and if at some point the price crashes, you see, like in a short period of time, well, the positions using them as collateral might not be liquidated, and this could represent, you see, like a risk for the protocol, and the position might come like unhealthy. So yeah, like it's a movement, and like people will always do as they please. Like you can't control that.
I wanted to see some quash, but
Some what? So some crash?
some quash, like quackush, you know, like I want to meet some ush with quacks.
Oh, okay.
And you get a key ush. Whatever. Sorry.
So no partnership, no tool around meme coins for the moment on the.
I don't think like any tools, and for us, we can't risk. You see, like because they can do good, and it's a good thing. Like we hope that they all like perform well. But if something happen, we can link. You see, like the protocol to that basically. At the end, like it's a sort of gambling, and we can't like promote that.
You're entirely right. I think stay away from that. I mean, like it's not something you cannot base, and even less on the early stage. You cannot go for that. I mean, like it could be something fun on the side. If you represent 1% of the entire supply you provide, but otherwise, at the moment, in any case, it's not the point.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a last question for you, Ahmed. Let's speak about soul for the last question, because people knows Hatom. They are getting to know USH, but they heard about Soul a few months ago, and I noticed that you were accepted in Astra Reason Incubator, part of six other projects, I think. Six, I think. Well, anyway, can you maybe tell us how things are going with Soul, and maybe remind in a few words what is a Soul protocol, because it's the same team that is building, not team founders, because two different teams, but the same founders that are building Hatom Protocol and Soul Protocol. And it will be my last question.
Sure. So, in a few words, I would say that Sol is a cross-chain lending protocol, and how we like to describe it as a layer X plus one cross-chain lending protocol. What I mean by layer X plus one is that Sol will be built on top of other existing lending protocols and tap in directly into their liquidity and into their user base. So users will be able to supply on Aave through Sol and borrow, let's say, supply some ETH and take some loan like from Compound on Arbitrum. Everything will happen in a native manner, and there is like no bridges involved. And this approach has never been done before. So how it is working is that we use interoperability technologies such as layer zero, XLR, P squared, wormhole, and so on, like Chainlink 2, to send messages from one chain to the other to keep track of the position of the user and to allow him to perform interactions. So if I were like to summarize Soul, this is how I would like define it. Everything's going like pretty well on that front. We've been like building it from more than 1 year and a couple of months, actually like nearly like 1 year and a half. We already reached a pretty advanced stage of the development. So we have completed the development of all the smart contracts on like the Avalanche, Arbitrum, Ethereum, and Polygon testnets. Everything has been deployed there. We have like a fully working proof of concept. We already like integrated both like layer zero, XLR, working like on Chainlink, already like integrated wormhole too. The goal is to try to have like the testnet ready pretty soon, I would say, pretty soon.
Before
So
the end of the year.
not before the end of the year, but like it won't take long in the year of 2025 for it to be live on testnet, actually. So everything's going like pretty well on that front, and it's a pretty promising protocol that will be able to benefit, you see, like Hatom a lot afterward, because we will be able to integrate it on top of the Hatoms that will be deployed on different chains too, to link like between them and the liquidity of other protocols and other chains.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You, and we welcome Joachim to speak about XX cities. Joachim, hello. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good yourself. I even changed background as you can see.
Oh yeah, it's
Um,
very,
yeah,
very, very beautiful.
thank
Maybe
you.
before to set Ahmed free, maybe you have a word or a question for Ahmed.
Just to keep building. I think they're doing great for the ecosystem, and I look forward to what is coming next. So I know you've got a lot of things in your pipeline. Must not be easy, but yeah, keep going.
Thank you very much, Joachim, and really appreciate that. On our side, we can guarantee that we will always keep working, keep moving forward, and pushing hard to help like the ecosystem thrive as much as we can.
I'm glad to hear. And you should come to X London. Is my last comment. Which, by the way, you're a sponsor of, so thank you very much for that as Hatom. So we look forward to showcasing DeFi to Londoners and people that are coming.
Will someone from Hatom be there?
I think so. I think that not myself, like personally, but multiple team members will be attending like the event, and hopefully, I will be able to attend like the next one too. So we are like going through a pretty like busy period on all fronts, but as soon as things get like stabilized, we will have, I would say, like a bit of free time to also participate and be present there.
That's good to hear. And yeah, we'll hopefully soon announce where the next stop will be.
Awesome.
I hope you will leak it here today.
No, sadly not.
Classic Jean.
Of course. Thank you very much, Ahmed, for coming this morning on GM MultiversX. Thank you very much. Keep
Thanks, Ahmed.
building. Take care of yourself. Wish you all the best for the next steps. And yeah, you will come back, I hope, maybe for the final release of the USH. Oh, last question, just in a second. You launched the beta. We can testnet. Yeah, testnet is the appropriate word for the USH. So how things are going? The feedback, is it okay? Did you find any big trouble in the code or so on? This is a question that we have last week, and I think it's interesting to answer this before I really set you free.
Like we launched it like multiple weeks ago. Since then, like it's been going pretty well, to be honest with you. We are like pretty satisfied with the work there, and also like the engagement of the community. We had like a lot of users active on the devnet, and it was like we were happy to see like the engagement from the community. So on the smart contract level, there was no issue at all that was detected. So everything was working as expected. We received a lot of feedback from the community, propositions in terms of how we could like improve the user experience, and we also worked on implementing like what made sense to us, because like the goal at the end is to make like the experience like intuitive for the users and as simple as possible. So no issue at all on the smart contract level. Feedback gathered from the community, and a lot of them have already been applied actually. So yeah, things have been going well. Going over pretty well.
And when the release?
That's a good question.
Ask this question.
From our side, like we are not yet in a position to provide like a precise timeline. What I can assure you is that everyone on the team, like BD side, but also like the tech side, everyone like is pushing really hard, working like nonstop, working like during the weekends too, late at night to try to reach that state. Like as soon as possible. So we already like started the discussion with the liquidity providers. We are receiving a lot of support on that front, even like from projects on the ecosystem that are like willing to take part in this initiative. And yeah, like we're making some really great progress on that front. So that will be like our next step. Like kickstarting the private mainnet release, and at that moment there will be like a 30 days countdown for the big mainnet release, like for the community to participate too.
Okay, so, last question. I'm sorry, because I stopped in my private message, and it's an important question. When the definitive documentation about the USH, since the one that is online is not updated actually?
So we are aiming to have it live pretty soon, like before the launch or at the launch of the private mainnet release. So once we will go live with it, the documentation will be updated there, and yeah, everything will be like available. And at the same time, like I really insist on the fact that we are available on the developer group. So if anyone wants to reach us or to the tech team directly, please don't hesitate. Like you are like one message away from contacting us, basically. And we will be glad to assist you in anything you are building, or if you have any question, basically.
What's the best way to reach you? So on the Twitter or on Telegram?
On Telegram, mostly. Like on Telegram, we are like very active. So all the tech
Send
team
me
is
the link of the Telegram in private, and I will add it to the description of the video and the audio podcast. Okay?
Yeah, of course.